This assignment involves making a rather large program for a sixth grader that will first design a two-dimensional grid, and then you'll be able to place points on them. And so to make the grid, we want to be in Python with Turtle. So I'm calling this making place point sample. And when you start a new turtle, it will have some starter code. And I'll show you what parts we want to keep. Lines 1 through 7, we don't need this, so just delete those. Click in front of Import Turtle and hit delete twice to move it to row 1, or line 1, excuse me. We don't need these down here, the for loop, get rid of all that. And we'll use the turtle here in a minute. So right now, if you just ran this, it would just have a turtle on the screen in the middle. And so let's start working on this. So the first thing we're going to do is work on the screen or the canvas itself. So I'm going to call this section screen. That's the shift 3 for the hashtag, and that's a comment. The computer doesn't read it. And let's create a window. I'm going to call it WN for window. And inside the turtle module is an object that we can make called screen, and it is capitalized, and it takes no argument. And when you run it, nothing really special happens. It still should perform as it did before. We can set up its size, called setup. And I was doing 300 by 300. That'll work. Excuse me, 600 by 600. So it's 600 by 600 is written like that. It's a pretty large canvas. Now that we have this as well, we can give it a background color. And just pick something you're comfortable with. I'm going to do a dark blue background. Something like that. Makes it very hard to read the turtle, but we'll get that in a minute. That'll do for now in the background. Now let's start doing some of the grid lines here, the horizontal lines of a grid. So here I'm going to type in horizontal lines. And yeah, we definitely need a turtle. And we're going to, it's pointing to the right, so that's fine. And we want it to go somewhere and draw a line. And so when you move a turtle, you need to pick its pen up or it'll draw where it's going. So let's type t.penUp, empty parentheses. And that should now allow us to be able to move the turtle where we want to. In this case, I want to go. I want to draw across the page, so I want to send the turtle to the left 300 pixels. And so I'm going to say, hey, go to negative 300 on the X. And don't go up or down at all, just stay on that level Y right here, 0. The center of the canvas is 0, 0. So I move it there and I put the pen down. And now I want to go forward 600 pixels. But black is really hard to read. So what I'm going to do here is give it a color of silver. And now if I run it, I should, turtle object has no attribute, go to. To go, it's go to, my bad. That's too funny. Oh my goodness, and now it draws that line, okay? And if you make this much, much bigger and run it again, you should see the whole thing, okay? And so really don't need to see that turtle itself. We can hide him. He can still draw hidden. That way you don't see that triangle now. Yeah, that's better. So that's one line. Well, we actually need 19 of these, and we want to start from the bottom and go all the way up to the top. Okay, and so we're going to use a loop for that. And the colors here and the silver and the fact that it's hidden, We could also speed up the turtle. Let's try that. T.speed of 0. So I'm doing it right after I create the turtle. Hit run, and it's a lot faster. Okay, zoom. All right, so really the action's these guys right here. Okay, so I'm going to skip a line or two. And I actually want these to repeat a lot. Okay, and I'm always going to start drawing from negative 300 from way over here, but the y is going to change. So here's how we set this up. This basically draws a line, and I want to do it 16 times, but not in the same place every time. Okay? So what you do is you take the code that you want to repeat and hit tab just once, and that pushes it in. Don't run the program, it won't work. Now, all the way to the left, above it, you do a for I in range loop. For I in range. And we want to do something 19 times, and you put a colon at the end. And that means all this code should be indented, and we already did that, so that's working. Now, if I ran this, it would just 19 times run the same line. So basically what I want to do is start down here far left, over here to the far left, but I want to start way down at the bottom of the grid. So this is negative, negative. So what I'm going to do above the for loop is I'm going to set y to be negative 270. Okay, so now I can refer to y here. So the first time through, it's going to go negative 300, and then it's going to go down to 270, down to negative 270, and then it's going to draw a line to the right. Okay. Every time we draw a line, when we're done, we want to make y go up by 30. And to say something goes up by, you say plus equals. So that means y goes up by 30. So then the next time through, y is negative 240, so it's a little higher. And so what you should see now when we run this is that we have our horizontal lines. Okay? And one more time, I'll run it when the screen's real big. Okay. Well, now we want to do the same thing with the horizontal lines. It's a little bit different because we could use the same turtle, and I think I will, but I need to turn it first. I need to turn it straight up and down. So these were the horizontal line section. Now let's try the vertical line section. So all the way to the left, vertical lines. Okay, and I do know I need to turn the turtle left 90 degrees so it's facing up. And I do want to start from the bottom over here and go straight up. Okay, so let me copy all this and put it down here. Now we're manipulating the x now. So we're always going to start at bottom 300. So the y will always be negative 300. It's the x that's going to change now. Okay. In the beginning, it's going to be 270 down here. And then I want it to be 240 and then 210. So x goes up by 30. So x goes up by 30, gets bigger by that. Let's see if we got the vertical lines now. And we do. All right. The next part is to put to draw an x and y axis and put arrows on the end of all four ends. So this is just a simple thick line for x-axis. Let's create a section here, x-axis. And I could call it tx, a new turtle for that. I think I'll retire the original turtle here. So this is tx, x-axis, and it's a turtle. Same color. You can use different colors if you want, but I'm going to do silver again. Whoops, sorry. It needs to be thicker for sure, and I believe that's pen size. And let's try 5 or something here and see what we get. Now, where do I move it to and where do I go? And it's pointed to the right when you create a new turtle, so that's good. So let's pick up its pen. Oh, might as well hide the turtle too. You can draw with the hidden turtle. Pen up, and now it's go to. And that would be negative 300 on the X and not up or down at all on the Y. And then it's just a matter of tracking across the page 600 pixels. So let's see if we have an X-axis that's thick. Well, it turns out we don't have anything showing up there in terms of that, and here's why. I forgot to put the pen down after it got to its location. TX pen down. It won't write unless its pen's down. So now I have a thick line down the middle. That one there, okay? And so let me zoom out one more time, just make sure we're seeing what we're seeing. There we go. That's what we should see. All right. So next, we want to do the y-axis as well. So it's real similar to this, except I'm going to refer to the turtle as ty, and so all these tx's need to be changed. I don't know if I highlight just that, it will allow me to do find and replace on just those. It says select all occurrences. Yeah, it'd be kind of clunky here. Just as a little trick, just so you know, you can do this. What I could do is copy this code in question and go to doc.new, the new document out, paste this stuff in, and say I want to change all these tx's to ty, okay? And you can easily do that. It's right here. Let me make this smaller. So all this text here under edit, there's something called find and replace, and I can say find all the tx's and replace them with ty's, and hit replace all, and now I have that. It's very handy. Okay, so I copy that, put it back here, paste this in. Let's see here, this is the y-axis now. Let me change this to the y-axis. You remove all this and paste in those ty's. Now I could have gone through and just changed each tx to ty, but this also works. So now I have a horizontal axis and a vertical axis. No, I don't. Why don't I have a vertical axis? Well, the reason I don't have a vertical axis is I haven't changed all this stuff. So now what do I want to do? Well, this time I want to stay at 0 on the x. I want to stay right here in the middle, and I want to start at 300 way at the top. And then I also need to turn my turtle to the right 90 degrees. So I better do that. TY, right, 90 degrees. So it's pointing down. So now I'll get my line, the vertical one, which is right there. All right. The next part of this assignment is to put arrows on the end of each one. And I use separate turtles for those. And so I have a north arrow, the one at the very top, and so I'll call it turtle north, TN, and that's the turtle. And I want it to be the same color, so I'll say TN color, silver. You can use whatever color scheme you want. It's a north arrow, so I need it pointing up. So that's turtle north, left 90. So it's pointing up. And then pick up its pen. Move it to its desired location. That would be 0 on the x, positive 300 on the y. TN pen down. And the size of it needs to be pretty big, so I'm going to say TN pen size is 25 perhaps. Let's see what that does. And let's see if we have a arrow at the very top. Let's see, am I doing everything right? Pen down, pen. I want to hide the turtle, I think. No, I don't want to hide the turtle. I want to see it. Let's see what that does. See if I can get to the top here. I'll run it again once I get smaller. Yeah, it's there. I'm not real happy with the size. So what about that? Let me see what's going on with that. I always forget something. And the something I forgot here was a shape. We can give it a shape of an arrow like this. So tn.shape arrow. There's my 25 pixel arrow now. There you go. Okay, so you can make it bigger if you wanted to, but 25 seems okay for me. And this designates that these go on forever. So I need to do a south arrow, an east arrow, and a west arrow. Turtle south. Uh-oh. This one goes to positive 0 to negative 300. And this turtle needs to be turned to the right 90 degrees, so it points down. Let's try that again. Oop, 90 degrees here, 90. Try that. Oh, I guess 180 degrees. So let's try 180 here. No, wait a minute. I created a turtle. And I turned it right 90 degrees, and it's pointing that way. That doesn't make any sense to me. Oh, look at that. Turn left. Let's try that. Having too much fun here. Here we go. And east-west. Turtle east, okay. It needs to go 180 degrees. It needs to turn around. And it goes to negative 300 to positive 0, or just 0 on Y. That should be our east arrow on the left-hand side. Perfect. Last one, west arrow. All right, this is TW. Alrighty, west. Well, you don't need to turn it at all. It goes to positive 300, 0 Y. Cool. And we're off to the races now for the next part, but I'll stop here for this video.